O'Reilly here. Welcome to the No Spin News, Monday, October 17th, 2022. Stand up for your country. So tonight we begin in earnest our coverage of the midterms 3 weeks from tomorrow. You know, I'm a little bit of a braggart sometimes, but I'll tell you, I think we'll have the best political coverage in the nation. And if you see anybody better or even close, please let me know. Bill@BillO'Reilly.com, Bill@BillO'Reilly.com, because what we're going to do is just facts, methodically work it down to what is likely to happen and what is happening now. And over the weekend, there was a change. There was a change in the political tenor. That nobody that I know of picked it up, but I did. And that is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. The change is this. The leader of the Democratic Party, President Biden, is becoming increasingly detached from reality. Okay? He's out of touch. And every time he makes an appearance, a national appearance, that becomes clearer to the country. Now, there are a third of Americans that don't care about that they will vote for Democrats and Biden no matter what. Same thing with Nixon. When Nixon had to resign, about 28% of Americans, they would have supported Nixon no matter what he did. And that range doesn't deviate. Those people are just hardcore liberals or conservatives. They're not going to change. But over the weekend, we saw Joe Biden in Portland, Oregon, and someone asked about the economy. Go.
Yes, our economy is strong as hell. The internal inflation is worldwide, worse off everywhere else than it is in the United States. So the problem is the lack of economic growth and sound policy in other countries, not so much ours. And that's how it's worldwide inflation. That's consequential.
Okay, our economy is strong as hell. That's just not true. That's like the border is secure. It's not true. Yet Biden has no trouble saying that. And a lot, well, he's a liar. He may well be a liar. All right? But from my analysis of him over the past 2 years, he simply doesn't know what's happening. And people tell him, oh, don't, the economy's strong. Now, today, CNBC came out and said there is a 100% chance of a recession in America. That isn't a strong economy, Mr. President. But will he even hear about that? Probably not. He lives in a bubble. That ice cream cone that he was holding cost probably 30% less last year at this time. Okay, so again, so Biden says our economy is strong as hell, and it's the other countries that are having the inflation problem. It's the other countries. So I told myself, all right, give me the stats. We have had 7 months in the United States of America with inflation over 8%. Not since 1981 has inflation been this bad. That was Jimmy Carter, okay, who got waxed by Reagan. And since June 1st, just a few months ago, the Dow has dropped 8.5%, more than 3,000 points. The S&P has dropped 10% since June 1st. Now, these are 401ks, college, all of your investments. Boom. And people are going to see those statements at the end of October, and they're going to be horrified. And that's the big change. Now, Biden should be saying, hey, we recognize there's a problem. We're working on it, and we have great solutions, and we're going to turn it around. That's what most politicians would say, but not him. He denies that it is even a problem. No problem. See other countries, not us. We're strong as hell. No, we're not. Okay? American workers are falling way behind, and everybody knows it who works for a living. Everybody knows it who has investments. And there's this guy out saying, Strong as hell. Hey, the border's secure. Don't worry about those 150,000 Americans dying from narcotics because they're flooding into the United States and Mexico. Don't worry about the 5 million foreign nationals who showed up here since I'm president. No, don't worry about it. Border's secure. Why? Because I'm saying it's secure. Now that is madness. It's madness. And so what is happening is even the dimmest among us, the people who don't know anything and don't care to know anything, the lazy people who want to live their lives in a shell on the internet or whatever they do, even they are starting to go, it's not working. Now, many of them don't vote, but enough do that it could make a difference. And then the independent voters, which now are the deciders, they can't break for Biden and the Dems. You just can't. So I'm going to give you my predictions tomorrow, but I will tell you tonight that American voters have to see there is no attempt at all by Biden and his administration to solve any problem. I mean, this ridiculous Inflation Reduction Act is just a fantasy. It doesn't reduce inflation. It never will reduce inflation. In fact, when the Fed meets again, they'll raise interest rates again. That kills the American housing industry, kills the construction industry. I mean, it's just like this. But the economy's strong as hell, according to Joe. And that's a memo. Okay, Fox News poll. Fox News, on the polling. I'm watching a polling this cycle, but this is an interesting one. So it came out with 1,206 registered voters. 42 Democrat, 41 Republican, fair sample, 17 independent. Would you reelect Biden in 24 if the election were held today? Reelect 33, there are the zombies, 33. Vote for someone else, 54. Joe Biden's traits are assessed by voters. Cares about people like me, yes, 46, no, 51. Honest and trustworthy, yes, 44, no, 52. Has mental soundness to serve, yes, 40, no, 56. Is a strong leader, yes, 35, no, 62. So if only 33% of Americans would vote for Biden again tomorrow, he's done. And I told you months ago he wouldn't run in 24. I think I was the first national broadcaster to do that. And now I don't even know if he's going to make his next 2 years. I said that before. Might be like a health thing. This is doom. Doom. All right, it's scheduled today. President Biden did nothing. He showed up at the White House around 1 o'clock, 12:20 from Delaware, and he didn't do anything. Maybe he had an ice cream cone. I'm mocking him. He deserves to be mocked. He deserves to be mocked. I'm going to get, Thursday, I'm going to get into why he's the second worst president in the history of our republic after 2 years in office. So if you really want to know about your country's history and the presidents who have been terrible, Thursday I'll do it for you. All right, let's segue into the Igor Danchenko trial. Not getting a lot of coverage in the media because it's embarrassing to the Clinton campaign in 2016 particularly, and the FBI. So there's Igor. Igor is a private research guy who pushed the bogus Russian dossier that said Donald Trump did terrible things and had ties to Russia, which is all untrue, as we know. He's on trial on charges of lying to the FBI. On Friday, Judge Anthony Trenga threw out one of the 4 charges, said there wasn't enough basis to go forward to the jury, but 3 charges will go to the jury. Now, today, closing statements were made, and the jury gets it this week. It's not going to take long. He'll be convicted. He didn't even take the stand, Danchenko. And his lawyers did not present one defense witness to stick up for him. No one. So it was just the federal prosecutor made his case, lied to the FBI, and Danchenko and his defense people said, we're not going to say anything. I don't know if that's the best strategy. Maybe he could have had his mom come in and go, well, he was the nice boy. Inflation at its highest level in 40 years. Interest rates skyrocketing. We all know that. Market experts like Jamie Dimon, CEO of JP Morgan, not only predict a recession, but are using scary terms like economic hurricane and unprecedented. So you need to call the only precious metal dealer I trust, American Hartford Gold. They will show you how to protect your savings and retirement accounts by diversifying your portfolio with physical gold and silver. Please call them today, and they will have physical gold and silver delivered right to your door or put inside your IRA or 401k. They have thousands of satisfied customers, are the highest rated firm in the country with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. Tell them Bill O'Reilly sent you, and they'll give you up to $2,500 of free silver on your first order. Please call 866-501-5201, 866-501-5201, or text BILL to 65532. Again, 866-501-5201, or text BILL to 65532. Joining us now is a guy who knows a lot more about all this than I do. His name is Brett Tallman, former U.S. attorney from Utah, and he comes to us from Salt Lake City this evening. So this trial, from what I'm reading, I didn't see it, but it really is damning to the FBI. And can you explain to the audience and to me how damning the testimony has been?
Yeah, so Bill, it boils down to there are two basic charges against Danchenko. One, that he lied about communications with a Clinton campaign operative named Dolan. And then two, that he lied about an anonymous phone call that he received, both of which were very important issues to the legitimacy of the Steele dossier. Now, the judge, as you commented, threw out the first one, and it makes me worried about this judge. The reason. The allegation was that by the FBI handler that he lied when he asked him if Danchenko had talked to the Clinton campaign operative Dolan. The judge threw it out because the evidence was that their communication was via email and not actually verbally. Now, that should concern everyone because the judge looks to be, that typically would not be the basis for throwing out a charge. Finally, sort of analyzing the definition of what talking means. The government clearly was indicating communication with Dolan. The judge threw it out, though, saying there was no evidence that there was an actual verbal conversation between the two. On the second part, the evidence has been very good that Danchenko lied, that the FBI was concerned about it, that the FBI actually shut down corroborating investigative lines and went forward with it. So it's damning to both Danchenko and damning to the FBI. What I worry about is, I think you were right that the evidence is there to convict him, but a judge that parses the first count as he did, I worry about that judge taking a look, and he indicated that he was going to look at whether or not the evidence really was sufficient, even if the jury returned a verdict of guilty.
All right, but if the jury does return a guilty verdict, the judge could do what he wants, but he's going to make the judge look very bad.
Yes, that's right.
So the FBI knew that Danchenko was running a scam trying to help the Hillary Clinton campaign, yet instead of shutting everything down, it went ahead and got warrants based on the false testimony of Danchenko that the FBI knew was false. Is that correct?
That's right. They went and obtained at least 4 FISA warrants based on information that.
Isn't that a crime?
It is to to misrepresent to a tribunal. The irony is, Bill, it's the same crime they're accusing Danchenko of, and
I
that
know, but
is misrepresentation. Right?
Comey and McCabe, the two in charge of the FBI, you would assume knew that this was happening. It was that high a profile case. They have to know. So they're allowing their underlings to mislead FISA judges, and they all know that the warrants that they're receiving are tainted. I believe that's the word, tainted. Isn't that a crime? Shouldn't McCabe and Comey, based on the evidence presented in the Danchenko trial, be charged?
Yeah, there's 0% chance that Comey and McCabe weren't briefed in on this, everything happening. The question really is, did they know, were they being informed about the concerns that were developing among the investigators on the legitimacy of this? And I have to think they were being informed. And if so, it's so disappointing that this Durham investigation has not reached the upper levels of the FBI or DOJ.
It's just staggering. It really is staggering, because this was a presidential election in which the FBI was actively rooting for the Hillary Clinton campaign. If you just want to break it down. And they were using the power of the Federal Bureau of Investigation to help get Hillary Clinton elected, right?
And Bill, if you dig into some of the evidence presented in this case, there were actual communications between the handlers and their sources, like Danchenko, about a great victory for Hillary Clinton and congratulations, and that, hey, you've got fans in Russia. So, I mean, just phenomenal stuff coming out in this trial.
Is it possible, when the Republicans take over Congress, that Comey and McCabe could be reinvestigated? And is it possible down the road they could be charged with something?
Yeah, I think it is possible if individuals in both the Congress and in DOJ are willing to step up and actually pursue where the facts are. Put aside the politics and actually issue subpoenas and get a grand jury seated and go after those folks that have purposely, manipulated their power.
So there's no statute of limitation. There's no double jeopardy. That means trying people twice. There's none of that. McCabe and Comey have dodged now, but down the road, they could be held accountable if the stars align.
That's correct. There are plenty of statutes with very long statute of limitations that could apply here.
Okay. Final question. Do you think Danchenko is going to be convicted, as I do?
I do. I think that there's sufficient evidence that he lied. One of the key facts being, Bill, that when the handler was concerned about the truth of what he was telling him, he asked him questions to see if he could recall some of the lies that he said, and the answers came out differently. The jury heard that. I think that's enough to convict him, at least on the 3 counts.
All right. So he contradicted what he had said before, and the FBI
Correct.
was able to prove that. Durham, is he done now after this, or does that continue to go on?
I think I think the concern is that he shut other lines of investigation appear to have been silenced or at least shut down. And, what does he have left? It's hard to say. So I'm not positive that he has other lines, but I would, if I were betting, I would say that he's probably going to shut down the operation after this.
A to F, what grade would you give Durham?
Well, if we're talking just effort, it would certainly be more positive, but he's, at a C or a D at this point, because we did not get to the levels of, investigation we wanted, and we didn't get the targets. He's also suffered an acquittal on the one that connected them to the campaign. So very, very difficult to grade him higher.
Okay. All right, Brett, thanks very much. We appreciate it, as always. Brett Tallman in Utah. If you are stuck in a timeshare and you haven't called Lone Star Transfer yet, what are you waiting for? Lone Star Transfer has helped more than 16,000 happy customers. They are family-owned, have a 99% success rate, Their process is done legally, ethically, and quickly. I mean, does it get better than that? The team at Lone Star Transfer will keep you informed every step of the way until you are legally and permanently released from your timeshare. So don't pay another penny for a timeshare you don't use. Get peace of mind today with Lone Star Transfer. They guarantee the release of all liability to your timeshare in writing and in a specific time frame. Give Lone Star Transfer a call for a free no-obligation consultation. 855-551-7066, 855-551-7066, or online at lonestartransfer.com. All right, here's the final thought of the day. When I'm out and about, I look around and I see what's happening. A couple of years ago, I couldn't get anything done because of COVID. Every day, I can't do a COVID. Can't do a COVID, COVID. I couldn't get Killing the Killers printed last year when it was supposed to be out because of COVID. Everything backed up. Couldn't do it. COVID this, COVID that. Don't have enough employees. COVID. Now, inflation. Get your bills. Look at your bills. They're killing you. Killing you. Killing me. I compare the bills from year to year, and I mean, it's stuff like cutting the grass. Inflation, cutting the grass. Inflation. It's inflation. Yep, that's what it is. We're getting gouged. Not only by the airline industry and a lot of the others, but in our daily lives. Oh, it's inflation. Because they stack it on. It's not 8%, it's 15% up. So just be aware of that. In some cases, I even renegotiate, and I've been successful in doing that. Anyway, thank you for watching and listening to the No Spin News. We will see you tomorrow. AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, is the leading conservative advocacy and benefits organization in America. I am an AMAC member, and you should be too. AMAC gives you access to exclusive benefits, insightful takes on today's news, and a magazine full of uncensored content that you will not find anywhere else. Most importantly, AMAC is working tirelessly to preserve the freedoms enshrined and secured by our Constitution. AMAC has become one of the most impactful organizations in America because more than just talk, AMAC gets things done. They are pushing back against the efforts to defund our police, weaken the borders, and replace your freedom with government control. But they need your help. Stand with me and more than 2 million patriots and join AMAC today at amac.us. That's amac.us. amac.us, and tell them O'Reilly sent you.